Hi. Okay, sorry I didn't get this to you sooner if you missed class on Friday, but the weekend got crazy and you know how that is. So I wanted to kind of go over with you what we did in class on Friday so that if you missed it, you can come back on Tuesday and feel like you didn't miss a thing. So if you take a look, one of the first things we did is we went over the assignments that are coming up and that are due. So the first thing due today, Sunday at 11:59, are the rhetorical terms vocabulary. So I want you to access it from Schoology in the upcoming slot on the right-hand side here. If you click on that, once again, as a reminder, I don't want you to make a copy of this from the class plans. I want you to access it on Schoology. Click on it. It'll say, instead of assignment, it'll say like my document or something like that. Click on that. It'll take you to this. Do the rhetorical terms vocabulary. Oh, something went wrong here. That's all right. I'll figure it out. And then you'll be able to figure those or to fill in those terms and then turn them in. So make sure you are accessing from the course page from the right-hand side, right over here, upcoming assignments. Okay. All right. Then on Friday in class, the first thing I went over was everything that you needed to do before I saw you on Tuesday. So there is an essay here that's linked as a PDF called The Indispensable Opposition I want you to read. And then you're going to go to this website called the I Side with Political Quiz. No one had taken it in class before. So when you go to the I Side with Political Quiz, it's going to ask you about different issues. It might start with electoral issues. It might start with social issues. It might start with global issues or trade issues. So it'll give you something. Should the Electoral College be abolished? And then it's yes, no, and other stances. If you click on other stances, it'll give you a lot more choices than just yes or no. If you don't know a lot about the Electoral College or whatever the topic is, you click on Learn More, and it'll give you a brief paragraph. But there's also a discussion that you can click on Stats and News, so you can learn a little bit more about it. Otherwise, you can just answer the question and go on. Every question has that same thing. Learn more, other stances, discuss stats and news. So you can find information about that. If that is a topic that you're really interested in, or you'd like to make sure that your political quiz is super accurate, you can answer a few more electoral college questions. So, and it'll keep going and going until you run out of possible electoral college questions. The more questions you answer on the poll, the more accurate your result will be at the end. So what I mean by more accurate your result will be, when you finish this quiz and you click submit, it'll give you two things. First, it'll align you with a political party: Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Tea Party, Green Party, Constitutional Party, Women's Party, a whole bunch of political parties that you may not even know exist in this country. So it'll link you to them with percentages. So you might be 56% Republican and 30% Democrat, and it'll go all the way down. Okay, so that means how close do your answers link with people who've answered it that are assigned to that political party. Then it'll also tell you basically who you could vote for in the upcoming 2020 election and whose ideas most closely match your own. The reason we're doing this is that you're going to be choosing something from that political party quiz. A topic could be electoral college. It could be, if we go forward from electoral college, could be something about gun restrictions, could be something about criminals and the right to vote, could be an economic issue. You're going to choose one of those issues, and you're going to, on Schoology, you're going to be filling out a topic section about those issues. So again, over on Schoology, the I Side with assignment, right here, you click on it on the right-hand side where it says upcoming events. There's an assignment right there. You click on it like my document or my assignment so you can begin. And it's going to take you, it's giving me some problems this morning. Hopefully it'll give you It won't give you any problems. But anyway, it'll take you to a little sheet that you need to fill in about what topic you want to do. Okay? And I'll give you a little bit more information about that. Okay? So that's what I need you to do by Tuesday. All right. So that's what I went over with first in class. And then we started talking about the 2 readings. So Allegory of the Cave, we discussed first. And as I said to you the other day in class, the first day of class, it's one of the more difficult readings that you're going to have because it is written by Plato. It is ancient Greek, and it follows something called the Dialogos, which Plato did it's written sort of like a play where a student asks a question and a teacher asks another question following the Socratic method, and they kind of explain a concept. So watching the YouTube video usually helps people understand that a little bit better. So I sent people off into groups and I asked them to consider what is Plato saying about the nature of truth and the nature of reality. And then they came back as a class and they talked with me about it. So a lot of kids in the class talked about how what Plato is saying is that it is difficult to accept a new truth or a new reality when it comes into your life, because especially if you have, if you disagree with it at a foundational level. And so like the prisoners in Plato's cave, what we see on the wall as our reality could just be shadows of what is real. And so when someone comes back in and says, that's just a shadow, this is a real phone, but we're used to seeing the shadow, the rectangular shadow of the phone, it takes us a long time to accept it. Even if we leave our cave, which is the place where our beliefs and our idea of what is true is generated, even if we leave that spot, we might still have a difficult time connecting with what is real. Because like the prisoners in Plato's cave, we only see what we believe was real at first. Our eyes are blinded to the truth because we've only been looking at shadows for so long. And then we also talked about how we can react emotionally and violently when someone brings in a new truth into our lives and reject it. We as a human race. So we talked about some of those people like Copernicus and Galileo, Socrates, who attempted to bring truth into our lives about the nature of the universe or reality or things like that. And they were hated and vilified and potentially put to death because of their beliefs. That's important. Socrates in particular is important to connect to, because Socrates was Plato's teacher. So of course, Plato wants to talk about what happens when we are confronted by uncomfortable truths and uncomfortable realities. All right, so we had a pretty long discussion about Allegory of the Cave, and kids contributed right and left about that. And then I sent them off again to talk about the oatmeal infographic. And I asked them to question, is there any way to prevent ourselves from having an emotional reaction when someone attacks our belief systems? Like, what do we do? How do we prevent that emotional reaction? And then I asked them to share within the group what is one example of a hot button issue in your life. Like, what is something that you believe? For example, the example that I gave is you may believe that wearing masks in public do nothing to prevent the coronavirus. Whereas I might believe that wearing masks is like the second best way that we can protect ourselves short of social distancing. And people can get very violently, emotionally attached to those ideas. We've seen protests erupt because of it. And some people have connected wearing masks to their own freedom, and other people have connected wearing masks to protecting their loved ones. So when these two ideas collide, both sides have emotional reactions. So what was your how do you prevent yourself from having an emotional reaction? And what is one of your hot button issues? So when we came back as a full group, we talked more about the first one. How do you prevent yourself from having an emotional reaction? And most of the kids in the class said that they really liked the way the oatmeal infographic ended, because it was ending like, I'm not trying to convince you that this is true. I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I believe. But what I am trying to convince you to do is to listen to other people and to be willing to accept other people, basically, and be willing to recognize your own biases. And that's what it kind of came down to. Throughout the semester this year and the next semester, in this class in particular, we will be reading. We read all nonfiction things, and it's mostly argumentative and persuasive. And I will bring forward to you issues that could be hot button issues that we'll talk about in class. So one of the reasons why I want you to do the I Side with Political quiz is to understand your own bias for those issues. And the other thing that we talked about is that I want you to understand that I am asking you to listen to each other and to try to put aside your emotional reactions when someone says something that you disagree with, and think about it more logically. Also, I want you to be willing to open your mind to other people's belief systems. And the indispensable opposition, what I want you to read for class on Tuesday, is why I think that's so important. Okay? So that's basically was class on Friday. It was a lot of discussion. It was a very good discussion. And then on Tuesday, when we get together in class, we're going to do a similar discussion with the indispensable opposition. And then we're going to be starting to talk about your first writing assignment, which is going to be emailing a politician about one of the topics in the I Side With quizzes. So that one of the ones that you feel really strongly about, maybe more of a hot button issue for you. Okay? All right. So I guess that's everything. I hope you had a good weekend, and I look forward to seeing you in class on Tuesday. Take care of yourselves, and have a good Sunday if you're watching this on Sunday.